What up? Hey, what up, yo? What up? Hey, what up, yo? What up? Hey, what up, yo? What up? Hey, what up, yo?
What up, though, Pride Nation? This is Luke G's Field Review, and we back at it with another code breaker. This time we're breaking down the Detroit Lions' new offensive coordinator, Darrell Bevell. He actually had a moment to speak in front of ticket holders at Ford Field recently, and they were allowed to ask him a bevel of questions. Now, in this particular video, you're not going to hear the questions from the audience here, but he said some things in this video that truly jumped out to me, and I want to break the code on it for you, being Lions fans. So let's get this thing started. Let's go.
You know, I've already had a good conversation with Matthew. Got to talk to him on the phone. I've been in this division, you know, with the Vikings and with the Packers, so I feel like I know him pretty well. But I'm really excited just to start to build this thing. You know, we don't even know where we're going to go, who we are going to be yet, because we're going to build this around our players.
Let's stop right there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's pay close attention to what he said. He said he's pretty familiar with our quarterback. No surprise there. He was the offensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings. He was also the coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks. So he's seen Matthew Stafford a few times. But what I love about what that statement is we don't know what we're going to be because we're going to build it around our players. Now, I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but I've heard numerous of coordinators come in, and I can't remember the last time I heard one simply say that we're going to build it around what we already have. That's a good sign that this guy's the right pick. And when I got excited and went on my rant on Darrell P. Fields' YouTube channel, by the way, please check out Darrell P. Fields' YouTube channel and Noble Sports by TA. Those are my homies. We roll together. We are part of the Detroit Alliance. We do our round table, but let's get back into this. What I love about this is he's going to design an offense based on what he has to work with. This is why I was so excited to have this hiring. But let's keep on listening.
So in my conversations with him, you know, we want to make sure that we're doing the things that he's been successful at, but I also talked about with him about stretching him a little bit, you know, maybe putting him in positions that he hasn't been before.
Did y'all hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Huh? Did y'all hear that? He said when he talked to Matthew Stafford, he talked about doing things that he's good at. He talked about putting him in positions he's never been in before. Everybody know what that position is. That's having a run game. That's not being forced to throw the ball deep all game. That's not being forced to try to be the only weapon on offense. But in case you missed it, we'll go back a little bit.
Make sure that we're doing the things that he's been successful at, but I also talked about with him about stretching him a little bit, you know, maybe putting him in positions that he hasn't been before. And
so right there, you hear right there, clear as day, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, my phone ringing. But you hear right there, clear as day, ladies and gentlemen, that they're going to do things that stretch him. In other words, he's going to be pushed to the limit. Do not worry about Matthew Stafford is what he's saying. But let's go forward.
You know, just be able to push our offense to new heights.
We've gotten to see what your offense looks like with Seattle and with Minnesota. Why don't you tell us in your words what a Darrell Bevell offense looks like?
Well, I hope it's one that scores points. That's the first thing we need to do.
I love the idea that he gave a general statement of one that scores points because, ladies and gentlemen, that has been a problem for the Detroit Lions. In fact, even if you go back to the 1991 season and you look at what we were averaging in scoring, we've never had a high-power offense. Now, I'm not saying that Darrell Bevell is about to come in and create that high-power offense. No, I'm not. You know, I am saying that his objective is to get in the end zone, and he breaks it down to you in a way. But as the video goes on, it's going to get more interesting. So let's keep listening.
You know, but right now it's still something that we're trying to build. You know, it's easy to say, you know, what we want to do in the run game, what we want to do in the pass game, but we need to build it around our players.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's almost like we just don't want to hear these facts. It's easy to say what we're going to do in the pass and the run game, but it's better to just do it based on what we have here. We're going to do it based on what we have here in terms of players, personnel, people. The days of the mediocre offense are about to be away because he's already plotting to be on the constant adjustment based on what he has. Let's listen.
So we're going to do what Kerryon does well. We're going to do what our wide receivers do well, what Matthew does well. We got to make sure we take care of the quarterback by protecting him.
Now let me ask y'all a question, ladies and gentlemen. What did y'all think he meant when he said we got to make sure we do a good job of protecting Matthew Stafford? Now some of y'all might jump to the conclusion that he's talking about offensive line protection. But in my right mind, I want to go back to the words that he said before he got to protecting Matthew Stafford. And that's doing what the receivers do well, and that's doing what the running back do well. So what you're going to see is a lot of this West Coast style offense where it's going to be some short passes here and there, and a whole lot of running. But, if you don't believe me, I'll let him finish telling you. Go ahead. Go ahead,
So,
Darrell.
at this point, to make big, bold statements, it's a little bit early because we need to, discover a little bit more about our personnel. Yeah, I had a little secret interview down in Orlando. Got to go down there to meet Coach and, really echo what Bono said. Bob Quinn was in there as well as Coach Patricia. Very thorough, very well thought out. They have a specific plan of things that they're trying to get done. They know what the end looks like, and we're trying to make sure that we put the pieces together to be able to get to the end.
Let me just stop it right there, people. He talks about his interview process and what they talked about in the interview and how, Matt Patricia has made it very clear what his end game is and what he wants to do to get to that end game, which is the Super Bowl. And if you listen to how he talked about that, there was a level of comfortability there. But again, this is all fluff. And I'm going to give you the fluff because I want y'all to be able to see the difference between fluff and when a person is giving you a little bit of information. So let's keep going.
It really happened kind of fast. I was able to get in touch with Coach Patricia. I sent him a text, and then he texted me right back. And then, of course, my agent was talking with Bob Quinn, and got an opportunity to do the interview down in Orlando. Went down there, spent about a day and a half with them. And there really wasn't anything that they didn't touch. Just like I talked about, very thorough. We went from the beginning to the end about my philosophy, what I believe in, also what they believed in, and it meshed very well. Where they saw kind of each position going, and it was just a real thorough process.
Darrell, you've worked with some great running backs in your time: Marshawn Lynch, Adrian Peterson. You get to work with Kerryon Johnson this coming year and a few other running backs. What are your impressions of that young player?
Yeah, another one I'm really excited to work with. I had a great conversation with him on the phone. He's really got himself put together. He's a smart young man. He knows exactly what his plan is. I was asking him, where are you going to be? What are you going to do on this week? How about this week? When are you coming back up here? He had all the answers, and he's really squared away that way. But his talent, is we were able to see that a little bit last year on the field. Unfortunately, he ended up getting hurt, but a guy that's talented in the running game. But I'm also excited to see some of the things I've heard about his ability in the passing game as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, I gave you a little bit of fluff, but I needed that fluff because I needed to build up to the point that he said. He said it's great to have a running back who can run the ball, but the days of having a running back who do nothing more than catch, say, a la Theo Riddick, those days are gone. The days of having players who can't do more than one thing or who is just a one-trick pony, those days are gone, Lions fans. He's making it very clear that he is going to use Kerryon in a way that he did not use, say, Adrian Peterson or Marshawn Lynch. And what he's really telling you is this is the ability that he sees in Kerryon. When it comes to Marshawn Lynch and Adrian Peterson, many people wouldn't say that they couldn't really catch the ball, but that wasn't their thing. Their thing was to run that thing. He's saying, nope, I've seen this guy. He can catch that ball, and we're gonna use that. But let's keep listening.
Well, which I think can really be a bonus for an offense. Bringing in a new offense, so just all the coaches on the offensive side of the ball trying to get familiar terminology. What we call our offense, what we call our defense. Because we don't call it the same thing that Coach P calls it. Protections, route trees, players, So we're inundated with all of that right now, and we've just about made it through most of the positions. There's still a couple positions that we're still looking at, but we've taken the position coach. I asked the position coach put some tape together on each guy, and then sit and talk me through it, trying to give me a little bit of cliff notes of what his strengths are, what his weaknesses are, and then kind of where we can go, how we can push them to help them get better, and what's the best way to use these guys in our offense. So
let's stop right there, people. I tell you all the time, don't be no chump. Please do your research, because what I find is those who do the research are those who are prepared. Those who are prepared tend to have a higher rate of success. And those who have a team that have a higher rate of success tend to look like winners. Winners are prepared, people. Winners are informed, people. Winners are always got their eyes on the future while paying close attention to the present and the past. And when he says he tells his position coaches that I need film on every player based on those position coaches' specialties, with cliff notes on what their strengths and their weaknesses is. What he's doing is getting the ingredients for his cake. He's getting ready to create this cake called his offense, because he's not going to come out with the same things you saw in Minnesota. He's not going to come out with the same things you saw in Seattle. He's saying, I'm going to evaluate our talent, and with that evaluation, I'm going to use those ingredients to make my offense. He then, before that, said, hey, I'm going to use Kerryon Johnson similar to some of the other top backs who are able to catch the ball at the backfield. When he talks about, I want to see what he can do in the passing game. See, that's the part of the Kerryon Johnson game that irritated me last season with Jim Bob Cooter. Matter of fact, from this day forward, can we not mention Jim Bob Cooter's name? I'm not even going to do it. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to say the former or previous offensive coordinator of the Lions. But they didn't utilize Kerryon Johnson in the past game. Can anybody tell me how often they seen a screen pass with Kerryon Johnson? Because I can assure you I didn't see it often. Now, they would throw Theo Reddick up in there and I would see it. But I wanted y'all to be able to hear these facts. So I'm going to go ahead and move it a little bit further and see what he said, because the video almost over. And then I'll give you my overall view of what he said.
So, the list is really long of all the things we're going, but we're tearing it up right now over there at the office. Appreciate it. Thank you. Excited to be here. Go Lions.
Now, the reason that I love that last little part is when he said we're tearing it apart, is because he's literally saying that we're going through piece by piece. We're looking at strengths, weaknesses, and we're going to exploit our opponents based on those strengths and those weaknesses. And what y'all may not understand is there's a hidden part in here that may not have crossed y'all minds, but it certainly crossed mine. And that hidden part is the idea that he's going to create the offense based on the players they have. But we haven't been through free agency, Luke. We haven't been through the draft, Luke. Oh, you noticed that part too, huh? Yeah, see, what he's saying is when I get all the pieces in play, I'm going to construct an offense based on my pieces. That includes free agency. That includes the draft. What he's saying is I'm already working on identifying people's weakness and strengths, because that means there's some people who ain't gonna be here, ladies and gentlemen. Their strengths may be good, but it does not outweigh their weaknesses. Like a Theo Reddick who can't consistently run between the tackles. Okay? So, I just thought that I would bring this video to y'all because I really wanted y'all to have a chance to see it and have a chance to hear from the horse's mouth himself, Mr. Darrell Bevell, because I think that too often we overlook the small things. But there were a lot of things in here that was said that I'm going to be bringing up at a later time in the live show, so stay tuned for that, because we're going to do a live show hopefully today. But if not, I got a live show coming where we're going to have a fair discussion, where it's going to be me and you, the fans, talking about our offensive coordinator and what he said and things like that. So until next time, don't be no chump. And remember, Please do your research.